My name is Alex. Well, now, when we travel to a different country, one that speaks a different language, the language that we understand and know essentially becomes meaningless. However, there are certain aspects and archetypes of humanity that kind of travel across all cultures and all languages. These things come together to become what's called the universal language, things that are like smiling or frowning. Now, alcohol consumption is one of these, is a part of this universal language that's very important to us, especially as college students, in that, I'm sure you've noticed in your career so far, college is a kind of social institution that oftentimes emphasizes the use of alcohol, oftentimes in those who aren't even old enough to drink. Now, I've heavily researched the topic from many peer-reviewed journals, and I've studied in my major the effects that drugs like alcohol have on a developing brain in that. Which is why I've kind of taken a stance against a change in the minimum legal drinking age. Now, first we're going to start off with a discussion on the problems with changing the drinking age to a lower age. Next, we'll move into ways that we can reduce alcohol-related incidences that are complementary to our higher drinking age. Now, proponents of lowering the drinking age oftentimes see it as, what's the worst that could happen? Everyone's already doing it, so let's just let them have their fun. However, unfortunately, peer-reviewed evidence tells us that there are both cognitive as well as societal issues with doing this. Now, most people understand the effects of fetal alcohol syndrome. Most people understand the effects that alcohol has on a developing fetus. However, not many people care or know much about how alcohol might affect a developing adolescent's brain. Now, according to Suzanne Hiller-Stormhoffel and Scott Swartzwelder in the article Alcohol's Effects in the Adolescent Brain, found in the 2003 issue of Alcohol Research and Health, the most negative impact that alcohol has on a developing adolescent's brain is in terms of what's called memory impairment, meaning that the child is much more likely to suffer memory loss when consuming alcohol, or excessive alcohol, than compared to an adult, and suffer these effects later into life. Now, according to Michelle Trudeau's 2010 article, teen drinking may cause irreversible brain damage on NPR.org. Binge drinking has been proven to significantly negatively impact a male adolescent's ability to pay attention. Now, do we really want to give our students a free ticket to a drug that has been proven to impair both memory as well as the ability to pay attention to obviously critical aspects and skills that we need in college? Now, on the societal issue and level of this, according to a study conducted by Christopher Carter and Carlos Dobkin in the article The Minimum Legal Drinking Age and Crime, found in the 2015 issue of Review of Economics and Statistics, the minimum legal drinking age and crime have been found to be heavily correlated with each other. Now, the study found that there's a 5.9% increase in alcohol-related incidences from 20 to 21. Now, the study also looked at other non-alcohol-related crimes and found that there's no significant increase from 20 to 21 or any other age. Now, this heavily correlates and supports the idea that the minimum legal drinking age and crime are very intimately related. Now, consider this for DUIs and how it's compounded by a lack of experience. Do we really want possibly more DUIs, especially those from those people who aren't very experienced in driving? Now that we've discussed kind of the issues behind the problems with lowering the drinking age, let's move to ways that we can reduce alcohol-related incidences. How can we do that then? Now, I believe that there are two critical components to doing so. The first is in education, and the second is in ending alcohol's kind of cool factor, if you will. Now, in terms of early education is where I really want to dig in. Early education is very important in that many people who get addicted to drugs and substances start early off. Now, according to the 2016 article, Principles of Substance Abuse Prevention for Early Childhood, put out by the National Institute on Drug Abuse, the most critical time that we can intervene in a child's likelihood to get addicted to a drug later on in life is during what's called transition period. It's a period of psychological vulnerability. Oftentimes when a child moves from middle school to high school to college, the child is emotionally open to ideas such as interventions in drug abuse. Now, education against peer pressure and drug abuse falls down to the starting line, if you will, the first line of defense, the primary caregivers, the parents. And it's important that we are able to educate parents on the negative effects and how to stop their child from possibly becoming addicted to substances like alcohol. Now, in terms of alcohol's cool factor, everyone thinks it's cool, right? In college, most of the pressure to drink comes from our peers, right? Because cool kids, on the weekends, they party and get drunk all the time, right? Excuse me. Now, according to J.W. Grube's 2004 article, Alcohol in the Media, found on ncbi.gov, we see alcohol like this. We give it this stereotype. Most importantly, this comes from the media, and most specifically from music and music videos. Now, in terms of what we can do against this, educating parents is number one, of course, on limiting or filtering this media. But we can also start social movements against this positive portrayal of alcohol in our society. Okay, so now that we've gone over my main points, let's review for a minute. First, we started off with the problems with lowering drinking age, and next we moved into ways that we can reduce alcohol-related incidences. Now listen, alcohol is fun, there's no denying that. It's like a spice, it adds a little flavor to life. But just like any spice, if a little too much and everything's just kind of ugly and nasty and tastes really bad. So I just want to end with, everything in moderation. Thank you for your time.